14. Mark chapter 1, verse 21 to 45. 2 Sam chapter 3, verse 2 to 39. Dan chapter 2, 1 through 23. Mark 1, 21 to 45. Mark 1, 21 to 45. Jesus cast out an evil spirit. Jesus and his companions went to the town of Capernaum, and every Sabbath day he went into the synagogue and taught the people. They were amazed at his teachings, for he taught as one who had real authority, quite unlike the teachers of religious law. A man possessed by an evil spirit was in the synagogue, and he began shouting, "Why are you bothering us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One sent from God." Jesus cut him short. "Be silent. Come out of the man." And that evil spirit screamed and threw the man into convulsion, but then left him. Amazement gripped the audience, and they began to discuss what had happened. "What sort of new teaching is this?" they asked exactly. "It has such authority. Even evil spirits obey his orders." The news of what had happened spread quickly throughout the entire area of Galilee. Jesus heals many people. After Jesus and his disciples left the synagogue, they went over to Simon and Andrew's home, and James and John were there with them. Simon's mother-in-law was sick, in bed with a high fever. They told Jesus about it right away. He went inside. He went to her bedside, and as he took her by the hand and helped her sit up, the fever suddenly left, and she got up and prepared a meal for them. That evening at sunset, many sick and demon-possessed people were brought to Jesus, and a huge crowd of people from all over Capernaum gathered outside the door to watch. So Jesus healed great numbers of sick people who had many different kinds of diseases, and he ordered many demons to come out of their victims. But because they knew who he was, he refused to allow the demons to speak. Jesus preaches in Galilee. The next morning, Jesus awoke long before daybreak and went out alone in the wilderness to pray. Later, Simon and the others went out to find him. They said, "Everyone is asking for you." But he replied, "We must go on to the other towns as well, and I will preach to them too, because that is why I came." So he traveled throughout the region of Galilee, preaching in the synagogues and expelling demons from many. Jesus healed a man with leprosy. A man with leprosy came and knelt in front of Jesus and begging to be healed. "If you want to, you can make me well again," he said. Moved with pity, Jesus touched him. "I want to," he said. "Be healed." Instantly, the leprosy disappeared and the man was healed. Then Jesus sent him on his way and told him sternly, "Go right over to the priest and let him examine you. Don't talk to anyone along the way. Take along the offering required in the law of Moses for those who have been healed of leprosy, so everyone will have proof of your healing." But as the man went away, he spread the news, telling everyone what had happened to him. As a result, such crowds soon surrounded Jesus. Then he couldn't enter a town anywhere publicly. He had to stay out in the secluded places, and the people from everywhere came to him there. Mark chapter 1, verse 21 to 45. Second Samuel chapter 3, verse 2 to 39. David's sons born in Hebron. David's oldest was Anon, whose mother was Ananama of Jezreel. The second was Kilib, whose mother was Abigail, the widow of Nabal from Carmel. The third son was Absalom, whose mother was Maacah, the daughter of Talaman, king of Gershon. The fourth was Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith. The fifth was Shephatiah, whose mother was Abital. The sixth was Ithram, whose mother was David's wife, Eglan. These sons all were born to David in Hebron. Abner joins forces with David. As the war went on, Abner became a powerful leader among those who were loyal to Saul's dynasty. One day, Isabeth, Saul's son, accused Abner of sleeping with one of his father's concubines, a woman named Rizpah. Abner became furious. "Am I a Judean dog to be kicked around like this?" he shouted. "After all I've done for you and your father by not betraying you to David, is this my reward? That you find fault in me about this woman. May God deal harshly with me if I don't help David get all that the Lord has promised him. I should just go ahead and give David the rest of Saul's kingdom. I should set him up as king over Israel as well as Judah, from Dan to Beersheba." Ishaboth didn't dare say another word because he was afraid of what Abner might do. Then Abner sent messengers to David saying, "Let's make an agreement, and I will help turn the entire nation of Israel over to you." "All right," David replied, "but I will not negotiate with you unless you bring back my wife, Michal, Saul's daughter, when you come." David then sent this message to Ishabeth, Saul's son. "Give me back my wife, Michal, for I bought her with the lies of 100 Philistines." So Ishabeth took Michal away from her husband, Patah, son of Laish. Palti followed along behind her as far as Barumiah, weeping as he went. Then Abner told him, "Go back home." So Palti returned. Meanwhile, Abner had consulted with the leaders of Israel. For some time, he told them, "You have wanted to make David your king. Now is the time. For the Lord has said, I have chosen David to save my people from the Philistines and from all the other enemies." Abner also spoke with the leaders of the tribe of Benjamin. Then he went to Hebron to tell David that all the people of Israel and Benjamin supported him. When Abner came home to Hebron with his 20 men, David entertained them with a great feast. Then Abner said to David, "Let me go and call the people of Israel to your side. They will make a covenant with you to make their king. Then you'll be able to rule over everything with your heart's desire." So David sent Abner safely on his way. Joab murders Abner. But just as Abner left, Joab and some of David's troops returned from the raid, bringing much plunder with them. When Joab was told that Abner had just been there visiting the king and had been sent away safely, he rushed to see the king. "What have you done?" he demanded. "What do you mean by letting Abner get away? You know perfectly well that he has come to spy on you and discover everything you're doing." Joab then left David and sent messengers to catch up with Abner. They found him at the pool of Sarai and brought him back with them. But David knew nothing about it. When Abner arrived at Hebron, Joab took him aside and at the gateway as if to speak to him privately. But then he threw his dagger and killed Abner in revenge for killing his brother Asahel. When David heard about it, he declared, "I vow by the Lord that I and my people are innocent of this crime against Abner." Joab and his family are the guilty ones. May his family in every generation be cursed with a man who has open sores or leprosy, or who walks on crutches, or who dies by the sword or begs for food. So Joab and his brother Abishai killed Abner because Abner killed their brother Ashel at the battle of Gibeon. David mourns Abner's death. Then David said to Joab and all those who were with him, "Tear your clothes and put on sackcloth. Go deep into the mourning for Abner." And King David himself walked behind the procession to the grave. They buried Abner at Hebron, and the king and all the people wept at his gravesite. Then the king sang this funeral song for Abner. Should Abner have died as fools die? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not changed. No, you were murdered, the victim of a wicked plot. All the people wept again for Abner. David had refused to eat anything that the day of the funeral, and now everyone begged him to eat, but David made a vow, saying, "May God kill me if I eat anything before sundown." This pleased the people very much. In fact, everything the king did pleased them, so everyone in Judah and Israel knew that David was not responsible for Abner's death. Then King David said to the people, Do you not realize that a great leader and great man has fallen today in Israel? And even though I am an anointed king, these two sons of Zeruiah, Joab and Abishai, are too strong for me to control. So may the Lord repay these wicked men for their wicked deeds. 2 Samuel 3-29. Chapter 3, verse 2 to 39. Dan chapter 2, verse 1 through 23. Nebuchadnezzar's dream. One night during the second year of his reign, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that disturbed him so much that he couldn't sleep. He called in his magicians, enhancers, sorcerers, and astrologers, and he demanded they tell him what had happened and tell him what he had dreamed. As they stood before the king, he said, "I have dreams that trouble me. Tell me what I dreamed, for I must know what it means." Then the astrologers answered the king in Aramaic, "Long live the king. Tell us the dream, and we will tell you what it means." But the king said to the astrologers, "I am serious about this. If you don't tell me what my dream was and what it means, you will be torn limb from limb, and your house will be demolished into heaps of rubble. If you tell me what I dreamed and what the dream means, I will give you wonderful gifts and honors. Just tell me the dream and what it means." They said again, "Please, your majesty, tell us the dream and we will tell you what it means." The king replied, "I can see through your trick. You are trying to stall me because you know that I am serious about what I said. If you don't tell me the dream, you will be condemned. You have conspired to tell me lies in hopes that something will change. But tell me the dream, and then I will know that you can tell me what it means." The astrologers replied to the king, "There isn't a man alive who can tell you, your majesty's dream. And no king, however, how great or powerful, has ever asked such a thing of any magicians, enhancers, or astrologers. This is an impossible thing the king requires. No one except the gods can tell you your dream, and they do not live among people." The king was furious when he heard this and sent out orders to execute all the wise men of Babylon. And because of the king's decree, men were sent to find and kill David and his friends. When Arosh, the commander of the king's guard, came to kill them, Daniel handled the situation with wisdom and discretion. He asked Arosh, "Why has the king issued such a harsh decree?" So Arosh told him all that had happened. Daniel went at once to see the king and requested more time so he could tell the king what the dream meant. Then Daniel went home and told his friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah what had happened. He urged them to ask the God of heaven to show them his mercy by telling them the secret, so they would not be executed along with the other wise men in Babylon. That night the secret was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised the God of heaven, saying, "Praise the name of God forever and ever, for he alone has all the wisdom and power. He determines the course of world events. He removes kings and sets others on their throne. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the scholars. He reveals deep and mysterious things and knows what lies hidden in the darkness. Though himself is surrounded by light, I thank and praise you, God of my ancestors, for you have given me wisdom and strength. You have told me what we asked of you and revealed to us what the king demanded." Daniel 2:1-23. Say blessed.